Russia's offensive in Ukraine's Donetsk region is underway. A senior Ukrainian official says Moscow is laying down heavy artillery fire to pave the way for its ground forces to advance. Russia has set its sights on the cities of Sloviansk and Kramatorsk. The Donetsk regional governor says both had suffered heavy shelling overnight and that there's no place in the region that's safe from Russian bombardment. Heavy fighting is ongoing on the border between Donetsk and Russian-occupied Luhansk. Moscow claimed half of the Donbas region after taking the city of Lysychansk on Sunday. Luhansk governor says Ukrainian forces are still holding out, preventing Russia from entering Donetsk, another half of Donbas that's under Ukraine control. Kieran McQuillan joins us live now from Lviv for more on this. Kieran, there's a heavy advance by Russia into the East Industrial Donbas area. What's the latest from the front line?
Well, we got some death toll figures overnight. We heard from Pavlo Kirilenko. He's the regional governor on the Ukrainian side for the Donetsk region. He says that in the 24-hour period just gone, 5 people unfortunately lost their lives throughout the region and 21 were wounded. Now, 2 of those deaths came in the city of Sloviansk. There was a rocket attack on a very busy market in the morning. The regional mayor there has asked people to start to leave. In fact, Pavlo Kirilenko himself urged the citizens of the Ukrainian chunk of Donetsk still under their control to leave. That's 350,000 people, it's estimated. But 2 people killed in the attack on the market and 7 were wounded. Now, the Ministry of Defence of the United Kingdom have published their daily assessment. They say that in the last week, the Russians have advanced on the city of Sloviansk, which is now the real centre of Russia's attention as it tries to capture that part of the Donetsk. Indeed, they were in there in 2014. They pulled back from the city of Sloviansk, but they say that they've moved 5 kilometres now. This is the MOD. The Russians 5 kilometres down. That means that along a highway, that means that they're now within 16 kilometres of that city. So that's the next fire point that we've got to look out for in this conflict as we move forward. Now, some interesting figures coming from the other side, the Donetsk People's Republic. They've also put out some casualty figures. They say that in the 24-hour period just gone, 4 people lost their lives in shelling and 14 people were injured. We've seen some amazing video coming from the city of Donetsk itself, which is under Russian occupation. You can see what's purported to be a car showroom on fire, and then you see secondary explosions. And we've seen some other video like that appear from inside Russian-held territories. The Ukrainians seem to be going after ammunition dumps. That would suggest these secondary explosions, that they're firing into these so-called warehouses or dumps, ammunition dumps, and setting off fire explosions, trying to get at the supply lines, trying to degrade Russia's ability to fire weapons into Ukraine by going after their stocks in that area, in those areas of Russian-occupied Donbas.
More brutal days for the people of Ukraine, and especially in the eastern region, Kieran. But on the point about that missing grain, Kyiv is also accusing 3 more Russian ships of transporting stolen Ukrainian grain, grain allegedly stolen from recently occupied Ukrainian territories. What do we know about this?
Well, this whole saga really blew up last Thursday when the Russian-appointed regional governor of Zaporizhzhia, he's a former lawmaker here in the Ukrainian parliament, he sent out a telegram message trumpeting the fact that the first commercial shipping ship had left the port of Berdyansk. It's a Russian-occupied port on the Sea of Azov. And he said it was carrying 7,000 tons of grain bound for Russia's allies across the world. Now, that ship later popped up, it's a Russian flagship, popped up in a port in Turkey called Karasu. And at that point, the Ukrainians wrote to the Turkish authorities and asked them to investigate the origins of the grain. And indeed, it took 2 days, but now customs officials are allegedly looking through that cargo and trying to work out where that grain from. But the Russian Foreign Ministry spokesman, Alex Zetsev, has just said in Moscow that this ship has not been detained, that it's just undergoing standard procedures. But we're now hearing that the Justice Department here in Ukraine has written to the Turkish authorities to investigate 3 more ships. They claim that 400,000 tons of grain has been pilfered from Russian-held territory in Ukraine, recently occupied areas there. Now, Turkey's in a difficult situation here because it is trying to broker, along with the United Nations, safe passages, so-called grain corridors, out of the port cities of Odessa and also Ochahiv and even Mykolaiv, where grain is stored in silos, estimates between 20 and 25 million. That would earn much needed currency for this country. Plus, of course, it will feed some of the people who rely on Ukrainian grain. It supplies about 15% of the world's supplies. Russia, for its part, absolutely categorically denies stealing Ukrainian grain.
Thank you, Kieran. Kieran McQuillan there in Lviv.